I think I always have to look over and make sure I actually show up. Yay! Woo! It's working again. I don't think I'm ever gonna lose that joyous surprise of it's actually working. Oh my goodness. Uh, so yeah, I'm just sending out a tweet, letting my people know that we're live. So here we go. Um, so I'm gonna go over what was accomplished yesterday while I'm pulling stuff up. I had planned to start streaming earlier, and my mom came over, as she does oftentimes, to bring me food. Um, and she said, "Hey, did you know that your dad is ringing the closing bell today at the New York Stock Exchange?" And I said, "No, I didn't." True story. Sorry, my tenant's over there. True story, yeah. So I wanted to watch that. He didn't actually push the button or anything, but he was in that crowd of people. And I was like, "There's my dad! Oh my god!" So that was exciting, you know. Um, so I'm bringing up my code. Here we go. Okay. Let's get this up here and big and nice. So that's the reason for my delay in start for anyone who was in that lovely meeting earlier when I said I was going to start around 3. Now it's 4:20. So basically yesterday I started my project, which is my final project for the Flatiron self-paced software engineering curriculum. And it's been a long time coming. Finally here. Just gotta get it done in the next 7 days. And this project involves a Rails API backend with a React and Redux front end. And I need to have 2 component classes and no, 2 class components and 5 functional components. And a fetch that uses the get method and one that uses the post method. So yesterday I was just kind of going through and I made up this model map. My idea is called the gifting calendar. And let me see, hold on. Okay, yeah. The gifting calendar, that's why I have that up there. It's basically an app where you can put in contacts and occasions that you would give them a gift, and then the item, the model, could be like a card or a present or like flowers, chocolates, something like that. So I made up that model map, and then build out the back end and using the Rails new command with the API flag, and And basically what, gonna close that down. So the back end code is, hey, okay, listen to me, do what I say, okay. So in the back end, I decided to kind of do vertical build instead of a horizontal build. So what I did was start with one model, start with my recipient model, and created the model and the migration for that. Where's that? Here we go. Here's the migration. So we have, the attributes that you can see in this image right here. Then I seeded the database using Faker, put that in as a gem. It's an awesome tool. I think you can just find it under Faker if you look under search in GitHub. And this is generating just fake names, fake addresses, and lorem for preferences. And then when I created the database and ran the migration and seeded the database, it said I created 7 recipients. I think that's what it was. And then after that, after that, I went and did routes. So namespaced them under an API. That just helps developers know that they're dealing with an API. And I used recipients for my resource, but really what I'm doing now, I decided to only go with the index action right now because I already have these objects in there that I created, and mainly what my first goal is here is to make sure that the back end and the front end are communicating. So I know I have recipient objects, and the index lists everything out, as you can see in the controller. We have recipients equals recipient.all, so that gives back an active record object that holds like all the instances of recipient and lists them all out. And so once I get that connected to the front end, my goal is to just create a page that's going to render all of the recipients on there. Oh, and I see Yolanda's in here. Hi, Yolanda. I just looked at the chat. I'm glad to have you here. Yeah, and so I created a controller and just put the index action for now because, like I just said, that's all I'm concerned with. And then define strong parameters. So this just says like this is all this model is going to accept. If I try to pass other stuff in here, hey Drew, if I try to pass other stuff through here, it's not in this permitted parentheses, so it's going to be like, nah, not allowed. And then you might notice this recipient serializer.new is accepting this and be like, what the heck is that? Good question, you who's asking that silently, because I can't hear you. That is our serializer. And um, what this does is transform this object into serialized data, and it basically makes it easier for JavaScript to play with because, um, like I said, I'm going to be implementing some fetches in here, and the fetch will get the data and convert it to JSON. So it's going to do the same thing with this serialized data, and just taking the objects from here, like if I just sent through recipients, it wouldn't play nicely because I think, now I'm not exactly sure, I may be completely butchering this, but I believe that it's because Ruby object or Rails objects, like coming from active record, are just like too complex, and the serializer breaks them down into key value pairs that are nested, so there's like an easier way to access them. But now that I've started talking about it, I literally feel like I'm talking out of my ass and want to look it up. So so I don't pull an Ace Ventura and talk out of my butt. Um, so it's called the serializer. Oh my gosh, is that Beth? If that's Beth, hi. And hi, Roy. Oh, sorry. I miss Beth a lot, and that's gotta be Beth. Hi. Oh my gosh. Thanks for coming. Um, so fast Netflix fast JSON. This is getting rerouted to here because some people had cloned off of or forked off of one of their commits and decided, like, hey, this isn't going anywhere, so we're gonna make our own. And let's see. Let's installation usage. This might not be what I'm looking for, because I'm looking more like definition serializers and why we actually need them. And Rails does have serializer built in. I don't see it in there, so I'm going to go to the API. Here we go. Serializers. Woo! Okay, so serialization. Include active models serialization. I don't know if this is what we want. Let's see. So Roy, am I using built into JSON or am I using a third party? I am using this third-party gem, this JSON API serializers. I'm just trying to figure out. I started talking about why we need serializers, and I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. So why do... Hey, Cabe. Why does Rails need serialization? Let's see. What's this? I don't think that's what I want. Okay, that would be great if you could check your notes on that. To serialize or not to serialize? Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Ah, turns it into a string. That's it. That's it. Hey, Yayu. Okay, so yes, a serializer takes an object and turns it into a string. Now I'm really interested in this though. See you, Drew. Let's pretend for a second we've already implemented authentication. Each wish list belongs to a user and has many books. A book can belong to a wish list. Right now in our controller, we are rendering all the wish lists that are associated with the current user as JSON. So we have our wish list already rendered as JSON. Why serialize anything in that case? I'm sure our JSON is structured perfectly well. So here we go. And then they say, that's not how we want it to look. So, okay, great. That's another good point that it brings up. With serializers, you can also be like, hey, I want it to look differently. You can add code in here to tell it how you want it to look. So I want to see an example. Here we go. So here's an example right here where they have the attributes. They have these associations in their serializers. And then when they have this data structure now, it looks different. So let's see. It doesn't look much different. It's nested under this wish lists. They're using active model serializer, not out-of-box methods. Okay. And let's see. They're rendering. Yeah, so they're just kind of playing with it until they get to something that they want, which is pretty interesting. Looks like they are creating a private method in here that's adding the book serializer attributes into here. So they can nest their attributes under that wish list serializer. This is a pretty cool post, and I think get out of here. I think that if you want to check it out, you can. TLDR, man, you're supposed to put that at the top. Okay, so then they have a link to the gem here. And another blog post by Thoughtbot. Cool. I'm saving this one because this definitely looks like something that I want to come back to. All right. So yeah. After that little detour, we have. I will show you basically what is going on so far. Rails S. Oh, hey. I am turning on Postgres because if I don't, it's gonna say, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? So I'm starting the server. I have the serializer, why are you yelling at me? What's going on here? Ugh, ugh. ASDF is yelling at me. Come on. Uninitialized constant rack cores. Eesh. Oh, I know exactly why. Okay, so it says uninitialized constant rack cores. Yesterday, I went in here. I was like, I have to do something with cores. And I forget what it was. And I was like, I know I have to uncomment this. Well, I was puzzling over, life and the world and all that. My project drifted across my mind too. And I was thinking about when I started up the front end server yesterday, that also started up at localhost 3000, didn't start at 3001. So what I'm going to do here is change this to localhost 3000. So this is saying like, hey, you can accept fetch requests from localhost 3000, and then change in Puma. It's setting the port for where it's going to listen. Yes, this is going to be 3001 because I want this backend server to run on 3001, because you can't have the backend and the front end running on the same port number. They just won't get along. And I just want to double check my database stuff too, because what do you want? Red Hat? No, just go away. How about that? I just want to check this. Test. Okay, everything's pretty much looks fine there, I think. Yeah. All right, cool. And now this error is saying like, what is this? What is rack? What is rack cores? Duh, it doesn't know because I didn't tell it to know what the heck it is. I have to uncomment this gem. And I forgot to do that. Silly. So, let's try this. Bundle. Get that pulled in. All right. Wait, did that come in? Yeah, it did. And now, let's see if I get yelled at again. Let's hope not. I don't like being yelled at. And look at this! Now it's saying 3001, which is what I want it to do. So let's go to localhost 3001. Yay! You're on Rails! Yay! Okay. Now, this is just showing, like, you know, congratulations, you did the thing. I have to put in the actual, I have to spell right first. Recipients. I have to put in the actual URL that I want to get to, and that is, again, goes back to our routes that we did, our namespace routes. So because I want the index, that's the only one that I have activated, and I have this under namespace under API. That's namespacing is kind of like another word for nesting, only the API doesn't actually it's only like a semantic meaning. It's only there to inform people, oh, this is an API. It doesn't actually do anything for the code. So I could take that out and everything would be exactly the same. I could take out API and that namespace API. So now, excuse me, I in there, and it's returning my lovely serializers. Now that I'm looking at my serializers, my serialized data, I'm kind of thinking you ugly, you know? Like, I don't know, it's just not, yeah, attributes. Like, this is nested under there. I'm sure I could pretty it up more, but you know what? That's gonna like be refactoring time. I'm not worried about that. And, you know, I'm actually kind of bothered that this is starting at 9 because I had kind of like a false start with this database. So I'm just gonna real quick, I shut down the server. I'm gonna do Rails DB reset, and it drops the tables and it merges everything and migrates, runs the migrations again, not merges. So you see it dropped the database, created it again, the development and test. It ran the migration files and then the seed files. So now I'm going to start the server again. Okay, it's working. And I'm going to refresh this page, and this should start at 1. Yay! And now we have, how many? Now we have 9 instead of 7 like before, because I randomized the number in, hello, where are we? The seeds file, between 6 and 12. And 9 is between 6 and 12. All right, cool. So that is where the back end is right now. I'm shutting down that server, and that's good, that's good. Okay. There are a couple changes, so I am going to commit those before moving forward. So this change backend port, because it changed from 3000 to 3001. And then cores, what did I do? Oh, you know what? I should have done that under here. Oh, okay. I think it's revert, but I'm not sure, so I want to look it up. Because, you know, okay, I could use this. Let me pull it out. I could use this and do undo commit, and it would just whoop back. Yeah, Cave's saying use the GUI. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. I wanna do this way. Let's see. I like using the terminal. How to undo the last commit. Yeah. How do I undo the thing I did? Git reset? Is that how I do it, Jono? Or are you gonna make me ruin my whole project? Okay. Yeah, you're gonna make me delete my whole project? Okay. Go soft. This isn't a time where you go hard. Okay, so I trust Jono because I think he's a decent human being, and gonna get reset softly. There we go. Something happened. Ready? Whoop, back there. Okay, so now gonna add cores in there, and then do the same message. And you can see I'm not like, these things are just like coming up. I am just pressing the up and down arrows. Also, there's like an extraneous letter that appears for my terminal sometimes. I don't know why. That's just like something that happens, and it's special to me because my computer's special. I don't know why. So there we go. Now it's 2 files changed. Why, thank you, Jono. I never doubted you for a second, even though I questioned you. And then, oh, and he's giving options in chat. I could have also done git add name of the file, and then git commit -- amend to just like change the text of the commit message. So awesome, thanks, dude. So now I am adding the gem file and gem file log add what is it called? Rat Cores Gem. Well, all right, and now pushing it up. Oh, Jono said always question him, so there we go. Wise advice. All right, I just closed out all of that stuff. And let's see. Just there we go. So as you can see here, there we go. This is like a folder that I'm in. It's a parent folder for my back end and front end repos, which I just realized that I should probably put them somewhere. I don't know, so people can look at them. Oh, well, here we go. I can just throw down my GitHub. Well, since I'm in here, let's not be lazy, Meg. Come on. Oh yeah, my what is this? My pull request went through for 4M. I forgot about that. Woo woo. Shout out to Nikki T for having me on his stream to do that. So this is the back end repo, and this is the front end, and I will put this somewhere on my Twitch profile for the future once I figure out how to make Twitch do things I wanted to do. I don't even like, I have no idea. Yesterday was my first day ever streaming on Twitch, so yeah, it's new experiences. So I personally like this organization because I have like both of them there together. The only thing is I do like working out of the yes, John, I committed ass. I'm glad you're back. Welcome back. And the only thing you gotta watch out for is when you're in the terminal. For someone like Kay, they're like, oh no, use the GUI all the way. So that's not really an issue. But for terminal people, like, make sure you're in the right repo, because I've definitely messed that up before and been like, oh my god. And it would probably make more sense if I put like front end the gifting calendar and back end the gifting calendar, because then you see it like up here too. So I might adjust that overnight for tomorrow. Anyway, yeah. But it's in alphabetical order too, so you'll just know back ends above. So, you know how yesterday I said I was going to read up on organization? After the stream, I had the best brisket. Like, it was leftover, so I guess it could have been better when it was fresh, but it was so good. Brisket and mac and cheese. And then I promptly fell asleep. So I did not read up on like organizing your front end or anything like that. But I did get some great advice from some companions of mine, and some of them suggested just starting in app.js and then refactoring, like moving things out. Some people say that they've seen folders like that have components, like that's holding my components, and then actions, because I'm doing Redux, so actions, reducers, and that helps to keep everything separated and also show people where the heck everything is. So I think that I liked the I did like the idea of starting in app, but I already know that I'm going to I want to render this index of um, recipients. So I'm going to make that recipient component for that. And I'm also thinking that I'm gonna probably, let's see. Okay, I don't think I'll need this anymore. Just gonna minimize it for now, just in case I do. And so I know that I'm going to need to install some stuff. So let's start there. I'm gonna need to add, oh, yeah, okay, so I'm using Yarn because I've been wanting to try out Yarn version 2 for a while. And so let's get that in there. That's interesting. npm install yarn. Let's see this. Okay. So I already have this going. So if I do yarn version, it's going to give me 122.10. Okay. Go to the next section, see how to actually enable yarn 2 on your project. Move into your project folder. Run the following. Oh, ooh, code name. Yarn set version berry. That's interesting. Let's see what happens. Oh, something just happened. Got a dart.yarn file. Huh, okay. That's unintelligible. The yarn rc.yaml. Yarn path. Now let's see what we get. Yarn version. Yeah, hey, would you look at that? All right. So the dot yarn. I wonder if this should be in like ignore. Let's find out. Okay, and then yarn init, starting a new project, installing all the dependencies. Yarn add dependency, upgrading, removing, upgrading yarn itself. Questions and answers. Why should you upgrade? How easy should you expect the migration from classic to modern to be? Okay, here we go. The settings format has changed. We don't read those files. Instead of consuming the settings, I just realized I was reading this and y'all can't see it. My bad, people. Sorry. Some third-party packages don't list their dependencies properly. Which files? Okay, here we go. Which files should we get ignored? If you're using 0 installs, if you're not using 0 installs. I don't know what the heck that means. So lock files should be committed. Sharing scripts. No, it is not operated by Facebook or tracked by Facebook. Everybody's like, is Facebook coming for me? What's happening? Don't worry, you guys, the yarn is not operated or tracked by Facebook. Okay, here's what 0 installs is. The term 0 install encompasses a lot of yarn features tailored around one specific goal to make your project as stable and as fast as possible. By removing the main source of entropy from the equation, yarn itself. What the heck? Okay, I'm not gonna do that because that just, I don't know, looks too weird. So I think that I should do this first. Oops. Usage. Okay. I should init first and install. And then, so let's see what happens when I do this. Let's just see what happens. Just type away. Okay. Alright, they're like, no, you already did that. What are you doing? So that's okay. We got that going. And you know, this is probably from the create React app command, which not only builds up everything for you, it adds it all, it stages it all, and commits. Weird, right? And let's see what they put in here, huh? React scripts. So we already have React and React DOM. Cool. So those are a couple things that I don't have to install. Let's do. I know that I'm gonna have to put in other stuff, some other fun things like Redux. Okay, so it's just plain old Redux. So yarn add Redux. Let's do that. A lot of things, a lot of words. Okay. Deprecations, warnings. So a lot going on here. Real confidence boosters. Oh, Kirk, you have no idea, man. You have not done a Flatiron School lab. Those things are like, everything is out of date. So it just looks like it's saying none of this can be found in the cache. And the fact that it's checking in the cache first instead of like automatically going to fetch from the remote registry means that it's just a good thing, because like it's like, hey, if you have it cached in your app right now, I'll just use that, because that's a lot quicker and closer than just like, here's this bucket, awesome, instead of like, oh god, I have to go out to the store and get it, you know like, if you have it right next to you, why would you want to go further? Oh geez, this operation may take some time. Yes, node. If you got it, go on it. Alright, well, since we got time to kill, I'm also going to be putting this in React Redux, and there's another one. Okay. It's like I just brought it up today and can't remember. React Router. So yeah, they all look pretty, straightforward. As far as installing them, as far as using them, I don't know. Oh yeah, thank you, Beth. And Thunk. Thunk. Oh, that's Redux Thunk. Right? I think. I think it's Thunk. Yeah, there we go. I think it's Thunk. Thunk, you think? Cool. And oh, okay. Hey, they said this would take a while, but it didn't. So okay, Beth is going to make a Redux Thunk alt called Thunkadunk. So look out for that. Um, it will be a great project. Before, okay, not really sure what's going on there, so that's fine. Now let's see. I'm just looking at, wow, okay, let's see. Here's some little notes that they have. It's saying Babel ESLint is deprecated. Now it's this. There's deprecated things. Oh, I came across this too, and I cannot remember what the heck that was. Yeah, so oh, Chocodar 3, F7, F7, 7, FS events, FS. I always read it like F7s. FS events is always giving me trouble. It's always like, hey, hey, when I try to install something, and I'm just like, what do you want from me? So I'm gonna pull the crowd here. Should I worry about these things like for instance, um like what the heck? Why is this using npm 3.4.0 and is core.js, like should I go in and replace this roll up plugin Babel with this one? Or should I just be like, who cares? Any thoughts? Any thoughts from the peanut gallery? Okay, if it's not an explicit error, meh, it's probably fine. I like that because we're gonna keep going. Okay, so um, and it looks like Beth may be flipping tables. These emojis are kind of hard for me to understand. You know how some people have face blindness? I sometimes feel like I have emoji blindness. Like, there's a lot of different smiley faces, but I only use one because you're smiling, you know? I don't understand the nuance. Uh, okay, so I'm just gonna add the rest of them in now. React Redux, Redux Thunk. What was the other ones that I needed? React Router. I believe that's it for now. That's all I can remember for now. And React DOM is already in there. I use the cat ones. I use the cat emojis. Because you have to make them more expressive. What is it called? When you anthropomorphize something, it's much more expressive. Wow, that was much less painful than the other one. Yes, and in case you are like Beth, every time that you render a new page on npm, oh, this one's actually using Node's package magician. Now, that actually sounds like it could be the the full length npm. But every time you refresh the page, it gives you a new one. I thought, why isn't it doing it? Yeah. So, nervously proposing marriage. Oh, darn. I went to the wrong page. Newtonian physics mockumentary. Yeah. Anyway, fun fact of the day. Alright, cool. And now let's see. Oh, it doesn't provide Webpack. And Webpack. I'm going to put Webpack in. It's sort of. It's been a pain in my craw lately. But, oh. You know, whatever. I just want to make sure that I don't have to use. Okay. Now, I keep checking here because sometimes they recommend that you use like the dev flag or something else, and I just want to double check. So, yeah. Now that's interesting. Okay. Alright, I think that's all I need for that. Now, what am I ignoring again? This. Because it was looking, as you can see, it's looking in the cache. So this one includes this. Oh no, wait, this one says to not ignore the cache. Oh, maybe I am using 0 installs then. Is that something native to? Let's see. Zero installs. Let me blow this out a little. Not a feature in itself, the term zero install encompasses a lot of Yarn features tailored around one specific goal to make your project as stable and fast as possible. Zero install is optional, has some drawbacks. Yarn does its best to guarantee that running Yarn install twice will give you the same result in both cases. Main way it does this is through a log file. Yarn does its best to guarantee that what works now will keep working, but blah blah blah. Let's see. You're saying, seriously, it's not our fault. These things just happen. So, in order to make a project zero install, you must be able to use it as soon as you clone it. This is very easy, starting from Yarn 2. The cache folder is by default stored within your project folder. Just make sure you add it to your repository. Again, this whole workflow is optional if at some point you decide that in the end you prefer to keep using a global cache. Just toggle on Enable Global Cache in the Yarn RC settings and it'll be back to normal. When running Yarn install, Yarn will generate a .pnp.cjs file. Add it to your repository as well. It contains a dependency tree that Node will use to load your packages. Depending on whether your dependencies have install scripts or not, we advise you to avoid it if you can and prefer awesome powered alternatives. I know what that means. I know it. I'm just trying to remember. I forget. Awesome. WebAssembly. Okay, come on now. That's not W as WASM. Who picked those letters? They should pick WHAM. You know? Wham power. But then they would have gotten all these jokes, even if there isn't an H in it, like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there, guys. Thanks for hanging in here with me. Affleck. Oh god. Yeah, Wasm has the same energy as Affleck. That was an adventure that I embarked on outside of college. I actually lost money while I worked for Affleck. It was horrible. I learned that I am not a salesperson. So yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let's put it under dependencies since Yarn does that. Looks like don't need that. That's interesting. Whoops, hey. Okay, so I'm not using zero installs because I'm not about to mess with that. And all that good stuff is in there. Cool. Hey Chris, how's it going? So I'm gonna just run yarn install again because I want to make sure I did things okay and that my yarn lock is locked and loaded and ready to go. Okay, done with warnings. Chris, the same thing I said to Andy yesterday. If you would like, feel free to plug your stream as well, your Wednesday night streams in chat, because I have a good time going to them. Yeah, so I'm still getting a couple errors, but warnings, my bad, warnings. I think that these will be okay to go forward with. And let's see, what is inside of here? Okay, so in oh yes, Chris, you may plug my streaming. I'm going to be here all week, literally. So I gotta get this done by the end of the month. So I just want to make sure that things are being ignored. I think, let's see. So I put changes in my git ignore file and it didn't register that, which is interesting. Huh. Let's see. But it's also not, this is really an interesting conundrum for me because, oh gosh, oh, and no, I've not made my GitHub profile readme. I just haven't, I don't know. I don't feel like it adds anything to my GitHub right now, so I didn't. But I probably will soon. Alright, let's try this. So GitHub or Git ignore has given me problems in the past, and I found this cool bookmark or the cool website. Why are you not doing what I want you to do? Troubleshooting. So whenever I find very helpful answers to problems, I save them with a tag of troubleshooting. And here we go. Okay. Because you ignore something and then you're like, wait, but it's still in there. So get rm dash dash cached, and then you add the path to the file that you're looking to get rid of. So let's try that. Rm cached dot yarn. Ooh. Okay, now it's saying it doesn't match anything. So this is really weird. Maybe I have to put the dot slash dot yarn. What's going on here? What am I doing? Well, okay, I think everything that's in here is supposed to be here at least. Oh, and hello, other Chris. So, oh, Beth. Beth, you don't have to be here for help. You can just be here to hang. You are no longer my instructor, so don't feel pressure to help me. I'm gonna add it in there because it looks like this. So this is, as we can see, it's in that directory, that .yarn directory under releases, and that we are saying, yeah, that can go in. And then this is the .yarn rc.yaml file, and that's also not in this git ignore. So I'm just going to add it. Git commit add. Let's do add packages to yarn to where to. I think that's what we ended up with. I feel like I'm gonna write this down because a lot of times I'm like, wait, what version am I running? Because it matters, and then I forget, and it becomes just a whole big mess. Cool. Why didn't that work? What's happening? What is going on here? Okay, huh. It happened here, but not on here, which is very interesting. Let's see. This is front end. So we can see that it committed here, but in here there's like no action. Um, let me see. Make sure this is okay. No, that's connected okay. Yes, Beth. This is an app just to kind of like track your contacts and gift ideas mainly. And dates for like when to give them so you don't forget. Okay, I'm gonna push this. Now check here. Back in. Don't want that. Alright, that's working. So this is all messed up somehow. Don't know how, don't know why. I think that what I'm gonna do is close it and open it again. When in doubt, turn it off and turn it back on. You know what I'm saying? I apologize if you heard something from the outside. Oh, and look at that. It's gone. So, yeah. Okay, cool. So now we're going to get back into the front end. The gifting calendar front end. Okay, cool. Add packages, so it has that in there too. That was weird. Okay, resetting myself. Great, great. Now these are grayed out. That's what I was hoping to see when I had put that stuff in here. So that's like, hey, we're still here. We're just like chilling on your local build. We're not gonna move on up to your remote because you're telling us to hang out here, which is what I want them to do. Yay! Nice. So, okay, let's actually make something, I guess. Oh god, you guys. Okay, I'm going to bring up. Oh wait, I had something. Here. So I'm closing out some other tabs so I don't go tab crazy. This is the curriculum for Flatiron, and I was trying to like figure out how React and Redux connects and when to bring them in together. And I thought I had a good grasp on it, but then when you're like inventing your own stuff, It's just like, oh my god, what do I do now? So I want to just look at, okay, I want to look at a couple things in here because I know that I'm going to have to make I know I'm going to have to make a store for Redux, which is going to be the global state of the app. And that, oops, see ya, Kirk. So that is going to be in here. We're gonna use this thing called provider, and I believe it goes inside, yeah. Oh, not what I wanted. There we go. And then I'm going to create a store as well and pass it into here. So my store is going to, whoops, the R key gets stuck for some reason. Create store comes from, yeah, provider doesn't come from React. Provider comes from something else. React. Oh shoot, I forget. There's so many. There's so many of these. Where in the heck does it come from? Is it React Redux? Let me try that one. Oh, thanks, Beth. React Redux. And then create store. Oops, don't want that. Curly brackets. Create store comes from Redux. And for that, I'm going to pass in a reducer, which I'll make at some point. Actually, I'm gonna kind of, okay, do it like this. And also, there's gonna be this later on, where I'm gonna pass in my thunk, which, you know, that'll be fun. Thunk. And also, I want to add, because I have this Redux dev tools, Redux dev tools something. There's another, wait, I'm going to open up a lab that I've recently done so I can see what the heck I'm talking about. Because I know that I've done this so many times, and it just all runs together after you do it, like, I don't know, a couple times, not even a couple times, like, I don't know, over a dozen times, but every time there's just like a little bit more. It's a little different. So it's like, wait, do I put this here? Do I put this there? I can't remember. So, oh, and of course that lab doesn't have it. Um, Never fear. Um, Flatiron, curriculum. There's plenty of labs to pick from. Uh, oh, what was the one? There was one that really tripped me up because I had like working code, right? And I was just like, why isn't this submitting? And it was just the test didn't like my working code. The test was just like, nah, not taking it. It was this. It didn't like my to-dos and the way I was doing my to-dos. Um, Jesus. Where is it in here? It's gotta be in here. Redux create store. Let's see. Redux web dev tools. That's what it is. Web dev tools. Minimizing you. No, I already have that. Redux dev tools something. What's that third word in there? Why can't I remember it? Get state, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Oh, it's extension. Yes, you are right. Thank you. You know, just that simple little word. Uh, Thanks, Betsy. You're a huge help. Oh, Lord. Why is my brain just saying, I don't know about today. Maybe we should just not. Okay, so where were we? So this is my store that I'm going to pass, well, that I am passing into the provider. The provider is what gets React and Redux talking to each other. It's their common link, and it wraps around that whole app, which is here. And the app kind of kicks off the actual functioning of like the React part of the application. Oh, there's a package for that. sorry. Redux DevTools extension. Ooh. This looks, yeah, that looks nice. I think I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add it because then I won't have to be grasping at straws for 5 minutes. I yarn ass this time instead of committed ass. Okay. So the save flag is that the same as the dev flag? In yarn. Are those equivalent? Let's see. No, it's not. In the following command, it saves all your installed code packages into the dependency section. It's unnecessary. That's what I thought. Okay. I don't want that unnecessary code. Well, don't want that either. Ah, get out of here. You. Okay, we're adding this. Okay, yay. I am just gonna make a quick little commit for that. To add Redux DevTools extension package. Cool. And now let's go back to here. And instead of all that junk, we can import compose with DevTools. From Redux DevTools extension, and then okay, so inside compose with DevTools is where we call apply middleware. That's interesting. Compose with DevTools. There we go. And get rid of this mishmash of whatnot. Yeah, there we go. And let's see. I don't know if this is actually going to render, but oh, yarn package has like a little thing too. Ooh. Sorry, I'm getting a little like, ooh, what's happening? Okay, so I don't know if I start this up, if it will actually work, but I want to see anyway. I think it's gonna be like, now you don't have a reducer, but it might just say, who cares? So let's find out. Okay. That didn't work. Not the error I expected. Well, that's so weird. Let's look and see what's happening. I just threw it in there like that because that's how they did it in some of the labs, and I'm wondering if thunk was actually a thing that was defined somewhere else. I'm not sure. Let's see. Import. Oh, hey, okay. So let's try that. Import Redux thunk from Redux thunk. Now, let's see. Composition. Import thunk from Redux thunk. Oh, hey, I have curly brackets around it, so it's thinking like this is a specific function that you're looking for when really it's not. So now what's the matter? Failed to load config React app to extend from. That's pointing to here. So let's see. Oh, this is an ESLint. I don't have that, so that's why you wouldn't be able to load it. I thought that's... Oh, if I change that, I'm gonna have to restart the server. Let's try it now. And we're starting, and we're starting. Woohoo! Okay. Expected error went off. Reducer is not defined. And not defined is different than undefined, right, Beth? Oh, man. So we don't have a reducer define. I think that'll be a good next step to go with. Yay, now I'm like actually, oh, let's naturally go on to this next step. So let me see. I want to pull up. She's so proud. She sent her student out into the world, and her student remembered one thing. That and Octothorpe. the hashtag is called an Octothorpe. So reducers, I want to do, okay, I know what this is. I just needed to jog my memory. I'm going to close that out and stop that server. What do we got going here? What happened here? Oh, okay. Took out. I'm going to commit this to granular commits. Remember to, you know, when I die, they won't ever say I didn't commit enough. You know. That's how I'm gonna be remembered. Let's go into my well-structured app and add a, what did I call it in this one? Manage to do was the reducer. So what I want to do is here, let's go to the lesson on reducers. And oh, this is a good one because this kind of parallels, well, very much so parallels what I want to do. This is the, wait, what is this? Yeah, this is like a code along. So this has, there's my friendly train. This one has manage friends. So this one's taking like friends, as in they're getting a array of friends, and for inside the reducer you have these different cases which are your actions. So the action can be whatever you want it to be. And you just define a new case here. So in this instance, they have like add friend, remove friend. I'm thinking update friend could probably be another. And I'm not really sure how else. But I think I think what I'm gonna do, oh, and if you happen to pass an action that doesn't exist, it'll just default and return the state, which is just whatever it is at the time. It's not going to do anything to it unless it finds an action that exists. Then it will set a new state based on whatever the code is in this return bracket here. So who's running React office hours? Oh, it was Dakota Martinez until like 2 weeks ago. Now, Tyler. Hold on a second. Tyler Taylor. Yeah, that's who's doing React office hours, and Cernan is doing some as well. But I know Tyler is like assigned to it now as like the main dude. So I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do like a manage recipients reducer. Let's do that. Let's go with that. Yes, Dakota is great. He got a little puppy, and one time during his office hours, like the puppy recipients. Okay, the puppy would like to go out and go to the bathroom like during office hours, and one time he was out and sitting at a table giving the office hours lecture, and he's like, oh no, oh my god, and the dog had like escaped its harness, so that wasn't so great. But so export default, but it was pretty funny because he was running after it, but he also had his laptop with him, and we were like, dude, put your laptop down. Like, you don't have to carry that with you. Whoa, hey, no, I don't want that. Action type. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Well, I know I need to pass in state, and I'm gonna make a default state here. And oh, I should have picked a word that's easier to spell. Default state, I'm just having recipients and blank, and then pass in action, and switch. Okay, yeah, no, that's good. It's just, I don't know, it's just like, man, I don't know, I'm just yelling at you because I can. There. Switch. Oh, I know why. It's nah, because I didn't put function in front of it. There we go. Yes, it helps to tell JavaScript when something's a function, because then it'll know to run it as a function. So case, we have, I'm gonna put add recipient, yes, and another case. How's this showing up on? Okay, cool. I'm gonna put update recipient and then remove recipient. And then there's always our default, which returns our state. Okay. Disown recipient. I don't need you anymore. So to do this, I'm going to destructure the state and then return recipients. Oops. And it's gonna still be the bracket. Okay. And put state.recipients. Yeah. Yep. And I think that's it. Oh, I have to return the action too. Let's do that. Wait, why is that in there? Hold up. Action.friend. Type. Oh, because I got it. All right, so action.recipient. So what this is going to do, so what's going to come in with our action, basically this is supposed to take the state. This is just here like as a fail-safe, basically. If for some reason it doesn't receive a state, but really it's supposed to take in the existing state, like as it is in the app at the present time. And the action is going to be passed in. It will have a type, and then it'll also have like something else. It could have, I guess, a bunch of other things, but it'll have a type. So the type will correspond to whatever case it is. And then the recipient, that attribute is going to be an object that we're going to add to the state. So that's going to be our new recipient object that we're adding to the state, as in like growing that list. I got an eyelash in my eye. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. And it will make more sense once I get to actually getting the person. So I'm going to do I'm gonna do remove first. So again, destructuring this. And then for recipients, so for this one, but so for this one, basically, I know that I'm going to be looking for a specific object in this recipient's array. Forgetting my words. In this recipient's array. And the best way to do that is by ID. Because if you were present earlier, if you've been with me for 2 hours, first off, congratulations for hanging in this long. Second, when I had shown the, let's see, actually I can show it right now, and that'll give a better idea of what's going on here. So I just opened a new terminal, and I'm changing directory into the back end and starting my Rails server on the back end. Cool. And here, now I'm going to my back end where it's saying, yay, it's working. Okay. API recipients. This is my index of my recipients. So we can see here, all the data is coming through as this big array of objects, and each one has an ID. So when removing a recipient from our state, the easiest way to do that would be by ID, because we know that that is unique to each recipient. So I'm going to assume that we'll be passing in this action dot type and action dot maybe like recipient ID, something like that. So let's see. I'm thinking of how to do this. I'm just gonna look at my lab because I already did it and I can't remember how. Okay, so I have state.friends.filter. I filtered through the friends, and I kept the ones that did not have the ID that was passed via the action. That seems like a good Plan to me. Does filter make a copy? That's what I want to know, because DN Mozilla, because we can't mutate state, and I just want to double check that. Here we go. JavaScript. Oh, see you, Beth. I'm glad you were able to stop by. So we can't mutate state, which means like taking the object and directly changing that object, because some of our React lifecycle methods depend on the previous state, and if we're mutating it, that's just going to muck it up. Just muck it all up. So it's important to make sure that when working with state and props and just like objects in the project, that you're choosing functions that make copies, and that they return like a copy of the array instead of a mutated array. So let's see. A new array. There we go, the return value. A new array with the elements that pass the test. So that's what I was looking for. So here, I don't have to destructure state, because I'm not like adding anything in, and I'm using like an iterative function on it. So that's kind of like built into iteration as it goes through each object in the array. And like up here, I had to destructure it first to add like that extra object in there, so nothing gets accidentally overwritten. So recipients, we're doing gosh, I just looked at it, can't remember. Yeah, state, okay, that's what I thought. State dot recipients. So this is saying like take the current state and the recipients from that dot filter, and I'm filtering over each recipient, and I'm going to say for the recipient ID, if it does not equal action dot recipient ID, then keep it. And I'm using this instead of action.id like I had over here because I don't think this is explicit enough. And chances are there's going to be like ID attributes kind of just floating around, so I don't want that to get like just a plain ID to get confused with anything. This is definitely more explicit because it's attached right to recipient. And here I'm using like a strong equals, a triple equals. So I'm going to do something else. W3 schools. Yep. I like this website. JavaScript reference. And let's go to string because I want to make sure that let's see. These are strings right here. You can see ID is a string of 2, a string of 3. So if it comes back like that in a string, it's going to come back false. Because if this is an integer and this is a string, so this is a 2 and this is a 2, it's going to be like, that's not right. If I had it only like that with the not equals instead of the not equals equals, then it would be okay. But also that's not as secure, and I want to design my app as securely as possible. So I'm looking to change it to an integer, and I know I had found it before. What's the date? Oh my gosh. There's just like a lot of people out on the street, and I'm like, what is happening? There's like a big run a couple of blocks from here. That's why. So I forgot about that. No, that's not it. I totally thought that I had found it before. Let's see. Let's search my handy dandy list of thingies. I don't know. Convert string to Boolean, JavaScript string methods. No, that's not what I want. String method, no. Integer, no. Okay, maybe I did not save it. So, Google, here we come. Okay. And something so easy too, probably. Oh, isn't it like parse int or something like that? Something. parses a string argument and returns an integer. Aha. Okay. That one's like, get out of the way, other thoughts. I'm at the back of the head, but I'm coming out. I'm coming. And right when I was about to Google it, came out to the front. So I'm gonna zoom in on this. Parse and rough scale. Const parsed equals parse and x base. So let's do my example from before. I want to do base 10 because that's like our Arabic number system. Oh, hey, yeah. Times it by 100. I forgot about that. Get rid of that. Okay. Oh no, why did I do that? Silly, silly. Try again, try again. And yeah, there we go. Cool. So parse in a lot of people, so this base is not required. It's not a required argument. So a lot of people don't use it because if you don't put it in, it will default to 10. The thing is, you really should, because obviously, like, there's binary, there's hexadecimal, like hex codes. This is the color white, you know, and it's just like a good habit to get into, because just for stuff like this, you know, you're passing in something to a function that uses parsin inside of it. So let's do parse in base 10. I'm pretty sure this is going to be an integer, but rather be safe than sorry. Okay, okay. Parse in. Alright, cool. So now I know that I will get integers back from both of these. And if it fails, it's not because one was an integer and one was a string. It'll just be failing because I was being dopey or something like that. Yeah. So there we go. Again, just to summarize this, we're taking the array of recipients and filtering through, keeping all recipients that the ID number does not equal the ID number of the action that we're recipient ID number of the action that we're passing in, which is the recipient we want to remove. And Okay, so update. Save the hardest for last because I'm I don't know, just love punishing myself. So let's go with this. I know there is a method that people often use for the remove recipient as well, when they splice, they splice, slice, shoot. What is it? JavaScript reference. Numbers and dates, da 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 da. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, not there, but I know where they have it. W3 schools. Hey, look at that. Go back to this one. And under array, slice. We have slice and we have splice, and now we're going to find out the difference. The slice method returns the selected items in an array as a new array object. Slice method selects the elements starting at the given start argument and ends at, but does not include the given end argument. Now the splice method adds / removes items to / from an array and returns the removed items. So this looks like it mutates the array, which we don't want, and also returns, yeah, see, note this method changes the original array. It also returns the item, not the array. So don't want slice, don't want splice. We want slice. Okay, so I think we can work with this. We have selects the elements starting at the given start argument and ends at, but does not include the given end argument. All right, so we're going to end up with an array. We know that, right? And it's going to return state.recipients it's going to return state.recipients.slice from the beginning until, but we don't know, because what if the person we want to update is at the beginning? So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Needs work. And I'm gonna do something else. So let's define something in here. Const updated, and it's gonna uncomment all that. And gonna use this to find the recipient that we want to update. So I'm trying to think, because we have come on, sorry. I know that I could create a find by ID method. Hey Nick, and your alpaca friend. I know I could create a find by ID method. And that might be what I want to do, because then I can return that specific recipient. Let's give that a shot. I can always refactor later. So let's do state.recipients.find. What is this? Find index. Returns the index of the first element in the array where predicate is true. Ooh. Okay, that could come in handy. Recipient that, and I'm going to borrow this code from down here, only this time I want them to be equal. So I want to find the person that, the recipient that has the ID number is the same as the one that we're passing in with our action. And this is not liking that I'm putting this in here. So I think I have to move this out of the return statement. There we go. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Don't do that. So this should be our updated. Now, there was a find index thing. What was that? Let's see. JS find index. And would you look at that? So we have an array, we have this constant, we have is large number, an element that is larger than 13. So find the index of is large number. So it's going to send back the first one that meets that requirement. But while typing in that search, I saw index of pop up. So let's look at that. It looks like the same thing. So that's interesting. Index of search element from index. You can put an optional starting index, and this one, oh, this one has like a lot more options because it's a find method. So yeah. All right, let's just do index of, because that one's pretty I think that one's pretty simple. So you know what I'm looking at right now though? This is gonna have to change, because if I'm updating that recipient, right, we're gonna get in a recipient object. So I'm gonna have to look at the ID of that recipient object here. Whereas with this one, all we care about is the ID. I could just change it just to like, for continuity's sake, but if that's the only reason I'm changing it, then it doesn't really make much sense. So then I want to do index of this. So let's do how am I going to do this? Basically, it looks like I'm gonna want to. So I have this updated recipient. I'm gonna change this recipient, and I think what I want to do is get the index and this could be just not at all what I want to do, who knows, but state dot recipient how was that? Find index. Oh, whoops, not what I want. There we go. Find index of updated recipient. And I'm going to want to like remove that recipient and add in the updated, like create a new one basically and add it in where that index is. So that's the workflow I think here. So I think I'm gonna change those. Okay, so found recipient index. So next I want to remove the found recipient from the state, and then add the updated recipient, aka the action.recipient object at found recipient index, and then return recipients. Miguel, inverting the condition, and then return state recipients action recipient. Miguel, I like where you're going with that. The only thing is I want to be able to mutate it without losing the order that it's in, as far as that's why I'm concerning myself with the index. And I know it's doable, and I've seen other people do it in their projects. But that makes perfectly good sense too. And if it's something, because there are definitely use cases where like you want the last updated thing showing like, I don't know, at the top of your list or whenever at a certain spot. But I'm not really sure. State recipients action.recipient.id. Chris, I'm not really sure what your question is in the chat. So right now, this is all a hypothetical in itself because I'm not getting any information from the back end yet. I had set up my store in the front end and just put this here as a placeholder, and when I started the server, it was yelling at me like, "What is render?" So I was like, okay, logical next step. I'll create reducer. Oh yeah, it's like, what is reducer? So yeah, action.recipient.id is set to something you're using to figure out where in the array you want to be. Yes, that is correct, Chris. What you're thinking is correct. Yeah, so that's action.recipient. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So, basically, okay. So instead of, because what you're suggesting is also a good idea, Um, the thing is, I have to take it in 2 steps because doing it together is kind of like taking for granted that this recipient actually exists in my app right now. Oh god. Hold on just a second. Uh, Everyone's mowing their lawns. Okay, there we go. And this may or may not be like overkill. It could definitely be, but I guess this is more like protecting the app and securing it more as from like any sort of um, injection or anything like that, because we're checking first to actually make sure that this recipient ID that's coming in is matched to one that already exists. And then once we're like, okay, yeah, we're getting back an object here, then we're using that object, there we go, to get its index. And this I could probably do an easier way as well. But I need to think on those for a little bit. Yeah, and right now it's 7. So I do have a meetup to get off to that I encourage you all to join because it's super fun. Here we go. Oh gosh, come on. There we go. But basically, to summarize what I went through today, I reviewed kind of what happened on the back end yesterday, and then went and installed, let's see. I went and installed a whole bunch of packages. Yeah, like React Redux, React Router, Redux DevTools extension, Redux Thunk, and Webpack. Those will all come into play at different points. And then I decided to get started hooking up React and Redux. So I created this provider with the store, and I'm like, oh, I need to make a store. So started making the store, and I just put this reducer right here as a placeholder. I'm like, oh, I'll make that. And when I had everything else in place, I went to render it and I got yelled at for a couple of things that got fixed. And then it said, we don't know what you're talking about. Reducer? What reducer? So that seemed like the next best place to go, and I've been working on this. And this is where I'll pick up tomorrow. And I'm definitely getting up early tomorrow to start. Um, I am gonna have my mom call me, wake me up, so I don't sleep in too late. Yeah, and then get this taken care of, plug it into the index, and start her up and see what else I get yelled at about, and that'll determine my next step. So, yeah. Again, thanks for coming out. I hope you learned something, or just entertained by my struggles. Yeah. So, and I'll post again when I'm gonna go live again. So, all right, see you tomorrow. Bye.